up, everybody? Garrett back here, and we're here for episode 2 of my newest series, 5 Rad Collectibles, where I go through 5 things in my collection to do with a single movie. Now, it can be anything from props, autographs, physical media. And if you missed episode 1, I did it on Rob Zombie's Halloween, so make sure to go check that out if you haven't. Alright, so episode 2 is one that people have been asking about, and this is for A Nightmare on Elm Street. And I could do many parts of this, which is what I like about this series is I could do a part 2 with A Nightmare on Elm Street, but when it comes to Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm including everything, all the different movies, just in one block. So I'm going to showcase 5 things in my collection that I think are pretty cool, that maybe you guys have seen or haven't. Alright, so what I want to do for this part 1 of the Nightmare on Elm Street collectibles is to showcase 5 things that I haven't done a video on. There's been other things, props, collectibles that I've done videos on in the past. This one I wanted to give you 5 new things that maybe you haven't seen from my collection. Alright, now the first one is something a little bit obscure. It came out in like the late 90s. It says 1996, and it's a VHS tape of A Nightmare on Elm Street. But what makes this so unique and so weird, and I still don't really know the whole deal with this thing, is that it's a 2 VHS tape. It's a 2 tape edition. And it's pretty cool. It's got this fold out here like this, and it's got different things inside. It's got some pictures, and then you pop this out, and there's 2 VHSs inside. Now the first one just says Nightmare on Elm Street Special Edition, Tape 1. And this one says Nightmare on Elm Street Special Edition, Tape 2. So very, very cool. You take a look. What's so odd about this is the back. It just tells you a little bit about what you're getting here. This actually has some special features. It says Tape 1 includes the original film, digitally remastered, widescreen transfer, theatrical trailers, and television spots. Tape 2, deleted and alternate scenes, alternate takes and endings, work print excerpts, and FX test. I heard, and I don't know for a fact, there's some of the stuff on this Tape 2 have never been ported over to other physical media such as DVD or Blu-ray or anything like that. Let me know, guys, if that's true, if that's what makes this so special and unique. But I always thought it was very unique based on the fact that the companies that were involved here, when you flip this around, it says Media, Video Treasures, New Line Cinema, Elite Entertainment, Anchor Bay. Like, everybody being involved is just super weird to me, and to have an Anchor Bay logo on A Nightmare on Elm Street is just not something that you normally saw. So like I said, as far as I remember, Anchor Bay never had anything to do with Nightmare on Elm Street, so the fact that they have to do with this version, this VHS double pack tape, is pretty sick. Now this is a very limited tape. I don't know how many are out there. It really doesn't say. It just says limited collector's edition, digitally remastered, 2 deluxe tape. But like I said, check out the back. Look at all the logos you get on here. Elite Entertainment, Video Treasures, Media, Anchor Bay. It's wild. It's very, very wild. But this is a pretty cool thing that I've had in my collection. And it stands kind of proudly on my shelf. It's kind of displayed. It's a top shelf item. It's just something very unique to have this nice thick box for Nightmare on Elm Street with this fold out. Like I said here, I just think it's a real cool thing. Let me know if you guys have seen this. Like I said, you don't normally see this thing around, but it's something I've had in my collection a little bit, and I wanted to make sure to showcase to you guys. All right, like I said, let me know down below in the comments. Have you seen this before? Do you know anything more about it? Like I said, I got this, and it really doesn't make a lot of sense to me as far as all those different companies on the back. And this is really cool. Like I said, I'm a huge Anchor Bay collector, so to have something Nightmare on Elm Street with an Anchor Bay logo on the back was just always really cool to me. All right, so the next thing I want to showcase is actually a toy. And it was a NECA figure, and I just think it's pretty cool because not only is it a NECA figure, but it's a display piece, and it's displayed here in my movie room just with a lot of my Nightmare on Elm Street stuff. And as weird as this may be, this is the Freddy Snake. And again, this is a NECA item that came out probably a couple of years ago. And what's nice, it has a stand. And look at Freddy there. Look at the face. And we all know the stories with this item here and why it's painted green and whatnot. But, you know, just to have something from Dream Warriors, a display piece like this, I just think is really cool. And like I said, it's easily displayed. I have it on a shelf, and he's just displayed like this. So I wanted to showcase that because I don't see a lot of this in people's collection. I'm not sure if people knew this even existed. All right, so I'm going to stick with the toys, but this is a retro toy. This is one of the oldest and coolest Elm Street things that I have in my collection, and that is going to be the Max FX Freddy Krueger doll, or I don't know, it's from Matchbox. It says Nightmare on Elm Street Freddy. This thing is still really wild to me. And if you look at the back, they did these for the other monsters, and you do have Freddy in there, you have the alien in there. It's just super weird to me. I remember seeing this as a kid on the store shelves. I mean, very confused on this whole thing, but it's basically just quick change artist and the master of special effects. It's kind of like you just build this guy with special effects. You've got the Freddy sweater, the glove, the hand, the hat, the boots, and the head, and you put it over this guy. Now, for years and years and years, after seeing Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, I thought this had to do with that, or before I saw Freddy for the first time, I thought maybe he was a human like this and then turned into that, and I thought you were kind of just making the character in the movie based on his real self. So I thought either this was Jesse and you made him Freddy, or this was Freddy before he was burned and you had to kind of dress him up as Freddy. I was very confused. But this was always something that I wanted, and I can remember I didn't have it as a kid. I remember seeing it as a kid, but I do remember when I get a little bit older and I had a job. I was like a late teen, and I remember getting introduced to eBay for the first time, and this was one of the first things I bought was this bad boy. So again, the Freddy Max FX. I'm sure you've seen this floating around. It's a pretty common but yet loved item in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. I'm lucky to have this completely sealed. It's never been taken out of this box, and it's something that displays proudly in my movie library. So when that video is ready to go, you'll see this again sitting on the shelf. All right, so let me know down below, do you have that Max FX Freddy doll? I think that's just one of the coolest yet weirdest things that came out back in the day, but I was always so intrigued by it, I knew I wanted it in my collection. All right, so as I move to number 4, I'm going to talk about an autograph that I have. Something really cool and unique when it comes to my Nightmare on Elm Street collection. And that is a mini poster of a Nightmare on Elm Street, but it's signed by Johnny Depp. So if you check that out there, that is signed by none other than Johnny Depp on this mini poster. And you should say, Garrett, how the heck did you get Johnny Depp's autograph on a Elm Street poster? Well, he was filming down in my area for the movie Black Mass, and I was able to get this down to where they were filming, and he came out and signed it, and I was like, I have to get him on an Elm Street item. A lot of people were there, and they had like Pirates of the Caribbean stuff. Like, they had so many other things, but I knew like I needed Elm Street, and sure enough, I was able to obtain it, and there you go right there. That's his signature, boom, on this mini poster. And this honestly is one of the coolest things in my collection because it's just so unique and different. And again, this also hangs proudly in my library. So like I said, I'm very fortunate to have that item. I think it's just very unique and cool. And I'm going to talk about my last item here. Now, this one I wanted to showcase because I did see this on TikTok a couple months back, and people were talking about it saying like, when did this come out? I don't ever remember seeing this. And it was only released for a short period of time, and I bought it. And to be quite honest, it's been sitting in the back of my collection for so long because I just didn't know what to do with it. And I took the batteries out, so I don't have them here, but if you search through my shorts and stuff, many months ago I did do a little short on it with the batteries in, but I took it out to put it back on my shelf because I didn't want it to damage the item. So I don't have batteries here to kind of show you what this thing does, but I wanted to showcase it because I guess this is pretty rare, and it only came out probably 10 years ago, and that is going to be the Nightmare on Elm Street animated soul pizza. Now, this is literally in a pizza box, so as you can see here, and like I said, the batteries are out, but what you do is when you press this button or you press the pizza when you take it out, these faces, they move, the pizza bubbles, they scream. So it's a pretty cool item. It's very animated. It's the animated soul pizza from Nightmare on Elm Street. So it's very reminiscent of the pizza in the Elm Street series. So very, very cool. I can probably open this up at least. As you can see, it looks just like a pizza. I mean, really kind of does. I mean, these lines are drawn on, so they're not cut or anything like that. But now, like I said, when this came out, I bought it right away. I thought it was pretty cool. It's by a company called Morbid Enterprises. I even looked on eBay. There wasn't any of these available, so I don't know how rare these were, but like I said, it's been buried in my collection forever. Didn't know what to do with it because it was such a big item. But I came across it on TikTok where people found it, I think, at a thrift store or a flea market, and were like, what is this? It's so rare. We can't find it anywhere online. We can't find it on eBay. So it's funny, I came across that video and I was like, hey, wait a minute, I have that. So here it is in all its glory. This is the Soul Pizza, animated Soul Pizza, and it's pretty damn rad. So gang, those were 5 rad collectibles in my Nightmare on Elm Street collection, and like I said, I have many more from this franchise, and I would love to do a part 2. I'm gonna do a part 2 on this, either next or later down the road, but let me know, what did you think of these 5 things that I showcased today? Do you have any of these things? Have you never seen any of these things? I'd like to know your feedback down below, and I'll answer any questions or maybe even showcase these a little bit deeper in another video. Alright gang, I hope you enjoy this series. Like I said, this is only episode 2. You can check out the Rob Zombie one as well if you haven't seen it. But it was something I wanted to bring to the channel because not many people talk about these other cool collectibles in their collection besides physical media. So I wanted to be able to kind of showcase some of these things I've collected over the years. It has to do with some of my favorite franchises. Okay, I want your feedback. Let me know down below, what movie do you want next? If I have at least 5 cool things from it, I will showcase it. Alright, thank you for checking this out. This is Garrett at Born2beRad, and like always, stay